let them go for a childish replacement. So now they broadcast from Steve's dark and stinky basement.
It's the podcast. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Steve, Tom, and Vikki here.
I got to start with the dream I had about Tom Sullivan.
Oh, a dream about Tom.
So real.
Wet dream?
If you know.
Jeez.
I had this dream that it was so real. We were doing the podcast, and we decided we were going to go to dinner afterwards. And Tom goes, let's go to Benihana. I said, okay. Steve said, okay. So we go to Benihana, and you talk your way into becoming one of those sous chefs with the knives and everything.
Nicer.
And we're laughing and having a great time, and we're drinking, and all of a sudden, a knife flips in the air and right in my neck.
Oh, really?
Oh, my gosh.
My neck.
Oh, my goodness.
And Tom's just kind of like, oh my. He goes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I said, don't worry. I couldn't move. Steve's like, we got to take her to the hospital. No, really, it'll be okay. Steve, thank God, takes me to the hospital. I wake up, and I guess Benihana is so worried that we'll talk on the podcast about this incident that they're offering to shut me up like $2 million. And you're like,
is that in your dream?
In my
and a
dream.
set of Ginzo knives.
And Tom's like, well, you got to give me half, and you're very mad. You got to give me half because you wouldn't be getting us money if I hadn't stabbed you.
I can't believe
said,
this
Tom, really? I can't
it was
believe
you
you're
that
acting
stabbed
like
her,
this.
not me.
Well,
My
I have
goodness.
this tremendous ache in my neck.
Really?
Isn't that
Really?
weird?
Yes, very weird. Voodoo-like.
So my neck is killing me, but there's no cash.
But how was the meal?
Did the guy do the volcano thing with the...
Yes, I was
I hope
thinking
so.
my
I love that.
favorite.
It was
love that.
Tom doing
I
everything.
can't believe that this is
Did
such
he
a detailed
Did
dream.
he flip the shrimp in our mouths?
Yes.
No, I don't recall. I don't recall eating anything. I
That's
just
my purpose.
recall pain.
You know how we open our mouths and they flick it in?
So anyway, there you
Well,
go.
that bar, Tom.
I can't believe that this is a dream you had. Benihana and you're $2 million. What were you drinking or eating or watching?
I
What were you
don't
doing?
know. I went to see Ant-Man.
This was last night?
Last
you had the
night,
dream?
yeah.
Oh, that's probably the reason.
Why?
Well, Ant-Man's very,
Very Benihana-ish?
It's very fantasy land, It's all like,
You want ants on the half shell, right? Gorilla
I
Grips.
like Ant and Mouth.
Ant-Man, by the way, I laughed throughout the whole thing. I loved it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Did you see it, Steve?
Yeah, I did. I saw it the first weekend.
Paul Rudd, I love him. Besides, he has the most thick, gorgeous hair. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. I always love good hair. I used to be a hairdresser in another life.
You did? I didn't
But
know.
his hair is so thick. I want to come back, when I do come back to another life, I want to have that hair. Paul Rudd and his comedic timing.
Do you know that he used to be a disc jockey playing music at bar mitzvahs and stuff? And there's videos of YouTube. Apparently, he became famous for doing some goofy kind of dance, and he's very embarrassed by it now. He's asked everybody to take it off the YouTube.
No.
But if you go to YouTube, put in "funny dance by Paul Rudd" on
Really?
YouTube,
Get out.
and it's bizarre. All these little Jewish kids used to hire him just because of his dance.
Funny Dance by Paul Rudd.
I fell for him in Clueless.
Pictures matching your request.
Oh, there he is. He's doing the dance on,
me see.
looks like he's doing it on something.
Isn't it funny that you can find something from 25, 80 years
Happy
ago?
birthday,
and-
Paul Rudd. 7 best dance routines and funny dancing gifts.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have time to.
Yeah, we don't have time to show that on the radio.
No, we
really?
can't.
Yeah.
Posted on our page.
But the movie was great, by the way. Ant-Man was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved they went and studied the movement of ants and the creative process to create those ants like that.
You have to suspend belief for that movie to really be entertaining, though, of course, because he flies around on a little ant with wings.
It was great. I
but
just
it's very
loved
fun.
It
Yeah.
could happen.
Well, there was an Ant-Man in the comics, I guess.
And
didn't
I
know
love
that.
the whole thing with the Avengers. That made me laugh. It was great.
Okay, well, on the subject of movies, I just saw 2 films that were really kind of like I've never heard of them before. One was called Little Boy. Steve, I think you might like this. It was directed by Roma Downey and Mark Burnett are the money behind it. And this kid, I'm not going to tell you about it, but it's just the cinematography. It reminds me of kind of like Pleasantville or that movie, that TV sitcom where everything was kind of like bright and the big huge primary colors in this house. It was one of those weird kind of. It never caught on. That's probably why the movie was.
Is it a fantasy film? Is it more like a documentary?
It's kind of like
What
a
is it?
fantasy film.
Okay.
With this little boy. And
Now, all their movies have a kind of a religious tone.
they
to
do.
them.
This is about strength and faith, but it's not in your face. So it's really a great film. So then I went out to dinner Sunday. I was sitting outside having pizza, and I said, you know what? I feel like watching a good family, feel good, kind of heartwarming film. I go home and I find this movie called T.S. Spivet. Have you heard of it? T.S. Spivet? Okay, there's something else that goes with the title, but T.S. Spivet, it's narrated by the kid, and it's another great movie. It's about how he is really brilliant, and he's been he submits this invention to the Smithsonian, and they think that he's a much older guy. So the kid, he gets a call and he goes, "Well, I'm going to go to Chicago, wherever the Smithsonian was at the time."
I saw that movie.
And then he gets on the train and he rides there the whole way.
Is it a true story, based on a true story, or made up?
I don't think so.
I don't know anything about this whole storyline.
It was a great film.
Did you love it?
Yes.
Oh.
How old is that movie?
I guess it came out in 2013.
Oh, really?
I was going to say not long ago.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one.
So there you go. Those are my two brand new older films that you might want to check out.
Okay, very good. Well, I got a funny story from just the past 48 hours. So Monday night, my mom calls me. She says, "I've got somebody for you to talk to on the air." I said, "Okay, who?" She says, I was at the beauty parlor, and she says, "Louise did my hair,
Louise.
I said, "Who calls it a beauty parlor anymore, Mom?" She says, "What do you mean?" I said, never mind. She didn't get that. But beauty parlor, I mean, does anybody call it that except 84-year-old people?
Thelma.
Your mom maybe?
My mom did, and my grandmother called it beauty parlor.
Sure. So Louise does her hair for all these many years, frosts it up and all that, burns the crap out of it. So anyway, she says, "Well, Louise is telling me about her nephew down in Florida who was sitting around one day and he had a Coke and his sister had a Coke, and they got the cans confused. And he said, wouldn't it be something if our names were on these cans?" And he said, "That's a brilliant idea. I'm going to send that to Coca-Cola." And he supposedly wrote a letter to Coke. They flew him up here. They made him sign the papers. He got a windfall of money, and he's on Easy Street right now because he's the guy that came up with the names on the side of Coca-Cola.
This is bogus.
So I said, "Really, Mom?" I said, "Really? What's his name?" She goes, "Well, I'll find out." And so she calls up Louise. She says, "My son would like to call him on his radio show, blah, blah, blah." She calls me back. She gives me the name and number. Dan is his name. Dan Major or something like that. Mager, down in Florida. So I call up Dan. I get this older man. "Hello?" I said, "Is this Dan Mager?" "Yes." I said, "Well, hi, my name's Steve McCoy. I'm calling from Atlanta with a radio show. This is it's going to sound strange to you, but do you know your Aunt Louise up in Buffalo?" "Yes." "Well, she does my mom's hair, and my mom is one of her clients, and she told me about your story." He goes, "My story?"
Oh,
no. I said, "Yes, your story about Coca-Cola." He goes, "And what story would that be?" I said, "That you came up with the idea to put all the names on. You're on Easy Street and all this and that." He starts laughing. He's just laughing. He can't stop laughing. Wish I had that on tape. And he goes, "I didn't do that at all." He goes, "My aunt loves to tell stories." He goes, "I print the labels for Coke bottles." He goes, "That's all. I've got a printing business, and I print the Coca-Cola labels with the names on them." He goes, "But that's all." He goes, "I didn't come up with the idea, and I certainly am not on Easy Street from Coca-Cola." I said, "Well, it sounded kind of strange that they would fly you down here and make you sign papers, then give you a bunch of money and send you back to Tampa." I said, "The way my mom told that story." She said, "No, it's true. Louise told me it's true." And I said, "Well, all right."
And I don't want you on my show. Goodbye.
I said, "Well, thank you very much."
I can't believe, first of all, Vikki, that he fell for it.
I know, really.
We're going to fly you here, and we're going to give you a bunch of money after you sign these papers.
Yeah. I said, "Well, it's bizarre." So I called my mom up. I said, "You're fired from the producer of the Steve McCoy Morning Show from now on, Mom. No more guests." She goes, "What happened?" I tell her the story. She goes, "I can't believe Louise made that all up." I said, "Well, maybe she just kind of got into a pattern and
she heard labels and she saw, oh my God, the label says Louise on this Coke. It must be my,
Oh my God, my brother
maybe it was
did that
an
down in
innocent
Florida.
mistake.
It's the chemicals from all the hair dye, I guess, getting Louise all these
Okay,
years.
so last night I'm with my dad, and he tells me this great story. I said, "Dad, let me call you."
Oh, great.
And we will talk about this on the air. He goes, "Well, I need a talent fee, son." By the way,
following in the footsteps of his younger son.
I'll have a story to tell you. I'll tell you after we get off the air with him, okay? And I'm going to call him right now. Hey, Dad.
Hey, man.
Hey, listen, we're on the air right now. I want you to tell me that story about the girl from North Fulton, okay? But don't mention any names.
Oh, I wouldn't dare. No, I was a freshman and she was a senior.
And whereabouts, Dad? Whereabouts were you? What school?
North Fulton.
Yep.
And, and she was very pretty, and I was just a lowly freshman, and I just had a crush on her, that was all, and I remembered her name, and 70 years later, I was in my retirement home and facility, and this lady, I was sitting at table with 4 ladies, and one sat down, and I heard her mention her brother's name, and I said, "You wouldn't be so-and-so," and she said, "Well, yes." And I said, "Oh, I just had a crush on you when I was a freshman, and you were a senior, and I had not seen you since I went away to school my second year at North Fulton." And I heard her mention her brother's name, and he was in my class, and so I remembered her name after 65 or 70 years.
Wow.
And she's sitting down with...
She was amazed.
Well,
Anyway.
well, go ahead and say what you told her.
Well, I told her that well, you talking about when I said...
Yeah.
I said, "You must be so-and-so," and she says, "That's right. How do you know?" And I said, "Well, you just said, I didn't hear you when you sat down what your name was, and but I heard you speak about your brother, and I knew him. He was in my class."
Well, Dad, but you said, now get to the point where you said that she wouldn't, you had a crush on her, but she wouldn't even look at you. You said...
Oh, no, she didn't even know who I was, and I just
You're
had
a
that
freshman.
crush, and I only saw her several times.
Mm-hmm.
But and then I was young and a freshman in high school, and she was a senior.
And you told her, right when you saw her, you said, "But hey, I had a crush on you, but you wouldn't give me the time of day."
Oh, that's what I told her when.
Did you make her
and she
cry?
just
Did it feel
laughed,
good?
and we both laughed, and so did the other people at the table. But no, she was a very pretty girl, and I just thought she was the prettiest thing I had seen at North Fulton. And I just remember the name all these years, but she never spoke to me, and I never really spoke to her.
Hey, Mr. Sullivan, it's Steve here. Nice story. Would you ever consider getting married again, do you think?
No. My wife died 11 years ago, and I certainly wasn't, thinking. I'm not thinking about getting married again.
Okay.
But my, 11 years is a long time to be single, and nobody would put up with me anymore, I don't think.
What about having sex, though?
Steve.
I don't know about that. There are no comments on my private life, but
Yeah, I hear that those centers for active seniors
just don't know what
really
you do
are
under
active
certain
seniors.
circumstances.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, well, listen, thanks for sharing that story. We won't use any names. We're going to edit that down. It's going to sound awesome.
Yeah, don't use my name either.
Thanks, Mr. Sullivan.
All right.
Bye.
All right, Dad.
Bye.
Love you, Dad.
Very, very exciting experience to see somebody that you had a crush on 65 or 70 years ago.
It's true, buddy.
All right, Dad.
Thank
Have
you.
a great one. Love
All
you.
right, take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That happened to me, too, when I went back to my
65
last
years.
high school reunion, my 40th reunion up in Buffalo, and I saw this girl that I had a crush on. She was in my grade, though, but I was always afraid to ask any girl out. And so I told her that. I said, I always kind of had a crush on you. She said, "That's funny. I did on you, too."
Oh,
I said, "Really?" I said, "If I would have acted on that."
Wow.
Then she told me she's a shut-in now in Buffalo. She never goes outside, that this was the first time she'd been outside and out for years. I said, "Oh, good. I'm glad I didn't
Oh, my
gosh.
go out with you." She was still very pretty, though.
Well, then
Never married.
I don't know if I should talk about this on the air, but a week ago, my dad had to be rushed to the hospital
Oh.
Why?
in an ambulance. And by the way, we were at dinner last night. He goes, "I just got the bill for the ambulance ride, $1,800."
Oh, my God, just
And it was
for the
only,
ambulance?
Yeah, it was a 30-minute ride. But you've got to figure that you're taking a vehicle that's so expensive and all that training out of service for somebody else. So, but
Well, he needed it though, right?
he did. Now, I don't know if I should go into detail about.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's perfectly fine.
Good. Wasn't the Xarelto again, was it?
No, thank goodness, no, Steve. But it has something to do with drinking lots of water. And I've always told my dad the importance of drinking water.
He was dehydrated or he drank too much?
He didn't have enough water.
Right.
And when you don't have enough water, your body can't function normally. So, but now fast forward to today, and he is drinking at least a liter of water a day, and he looks so much younger. I almost didn't recognize him when I came to pick him up last night. It's amazing how much better he is.
Speaking of water, we had our friend on, Dr. Ted Broer, 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
Remember Dr. Ted, the top 10 things you should never eat?
Yes.
We didn't have him on for that. We had him on for something else. And so he was great, but he talked about water. He says only drink that Voss water, V-O-S-S. And he says,
I've seen it.
I don't sell Voss. I don't have anything to do with it. He said, but it's the only water that you should be drinking out there.
Why?
Because it's never shipped in trucks, apparently, so it can't get the plastic. Would not. It's a container.
It's in glass.
It's in glass, yeah. And he said it's more expensive, but it's the best water out there. And he said,
what about tap water?
I buy the bottle. He says I've got an oxygenation machine at my house or whatever, and he does his own water after that.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Lipsy water is shipped in glass containers, almost 5-gallon containers, like Crystal Springs or those other ones. And that is glass. You can sterilize glass containers, but you cannot sterilize things like Crystal Springs. That plastic is just rinsed out and with hot water, but you never know if they're getting totally clean. And plastic and what could be leaching into the water, it's shipped on hot trucks.
I drink my plastic water bottle.
I mean,
right
you
here.
know, you guys, just Voss water. I've seen it. They have it at Marshalls and TJ Maxx and Home Goods. And
Oh, do they? Because he said you had to go to health food
It's
stores.
expensive.
it's $2.99 for a big glass bottle.
For water. Drink out of your sink.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
know.
my dad would say, or my grandfather. Oh, never. I did it for 95 years, and I never got sick.
How about yes or BS?
Yes.
Want to play a game?
Yes.
All right. All about Donald Trump.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Save this for
Let
you
me go
guys.
first
All
because
this week.
I love Donald
Because
Trump.
you won last time.
I
You're
did.
feeling lucky.
That's right. I did win in our NFL trivia contest.
All right. This is about Donald Trump. Quote, Hillary Clinton is a slob. She talks like a truck driver.
Okay, that's BS.
Yeah, you're right. He said that about Rosie O'Donnell.
How about that?
1 point for Tom. He said that in 2006 about Rosie O'Donnell.
Okay, I'm going to get a pretzel now.
My
Let's keep
turn.
going, Vicky.
Vicky.
You get a reward. You get a pretzel.
Donald Trump maybe said this. Angelina Jolie has been with so many guys, she makes me look like a baby, and I just don't even find her attractive. Yes or BS? Did Donald Trump say that about Angelina Jolie?
No.
Vicky.
He did?
Yep. He said on Larry King Live in 2006.
Wow.
Apparently the same year he made the statement about Rosie, he was on fire, I
I
guess.
was
in
so
06.
glad I didn't get that one.
All
How
right.
can you hate Angelina Jolie or not think she's beautiful?
You know, he says anything about anybody
That's
when
true.
they say anything
That's
about him
true.
or if they
Okay.
don't like him.
All right, Tom's winning.
All right, Tom, number 3. If Ivana weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Yes.
Yes, he
Yes, he
did. say
did.
that. On The
I
View.
remember that one.
On The View, right? Okay, Vic, it's 2-0. Wow. What's happening here? The polls are going to switch. I fully understand why Ariana Huffington's former husband left her for a man. Did he say that or not?
Yes.
He did indeed, yes.
2-1.
He said it on Twitter in 2012. All right, Tom. Bette Midler is an extremely unattractive woman, but I refuse to say that because I always insist on being politically correct.
Wow, Steve. Just a minute here.
Bette Midler is an extremely unattractive woman, but I refuse to say that because I always insist on being politically correct.
Let me summon. I'm going to phone a friend.
You can't.
Let's play. All right. I say BS.
No, he did say it. He did say it. And
Wow, Vicky.
after she made fun of his hair on a television show in 2012, that's what he said about her.
Okay, it's
That's
2-1.
it. That's it.
Oh my God.
5 questions
Vicky,
only.
Vicky.
5. You got to have it even.
That's right.
Well, we always ask 5 questions, Vic. It's always been 5 questions.
That's right, Vicky.
No, because you asked him one more than me.
Wait.
I know, but I know that.
That's the way.
So you didn't mind when you won that it was always 5 questions, as long as you won,
I
right?
didn't know they were always 5.
That's right. And I want to contest every time I've lost for 5 questions. It was
right.
not even.
Hey, want to hear something kind of cool? This guy played guitar and he did 101 TV themes on his guitar. How many of these can you name? Three Stooges, Batman. Come on.
Do we have
Spider-Man.
Do we have to hear all 100?
Okay.
No, keep going. Keep going. I'm going to get one.
Scooby-Doo. MASH.
I need more.
Let Tom try.
All right, well.
Price is Right. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you should be able to get this one. X-Files.
I didn't know. Hold on. Table for 2.
I don't know what this one is anymore. Oh.
That sounds like Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, well, it's the one.
Or is that Deliverance? You sure got it pretty.
All right, enough of that.
Steve, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's great
Some
what
guy-
your
That was
son
good.
has done with the guitar.
Yeah. Lessons, all those years of
See, that was
lessons.
pretty good. It sounded a bit like Elvis. So
Yeah.
what kind of guitar was that?
Let's see, what else do I have here? I've got,
What else have I heard that's been really crazy? I did hear about this. Where someone was talking about the Iran nuclear deal that we made. It was Trump was talking about it on Meet the Press on Sunday on NBC, and he was saying that I didn't know this, that we made this deal, and even if the deal doesn't go through, they still get the $150 billion.
Aha! I'm glad you said that, because if you would read the AJC, they have the Truthometer, which is great.
Yes,
That is not true.
it's not.
No. And that's what's great about what I've told Charlie Gay about what I love about the paper is these politicians just spew things and nobody ever questions anything. So I'm sure other news organizations do, but they'll take quotes from prominent politicians, celebrities, whatever, and then they actually investigate and they'll say it's a lie, true,
It's like
half
Snopes.
truth. But yeah, he was... Actually, it wasn't a pants on fire lie, but it wasn't completely accurate.
Oh, well, now tell me. I'm about to Google it.
Go ahead, Google it.
Is it partly true they're going to get some money?
probably. I'm sure that they did, but
How much money will Iraq get? How should I ask the question?
Was Donald Trump accurate in...
his assessment.
Donald Trump says the Iran-Iraq nuclear deal, they'll get the money regardless. Donald Trump, Iran gets to keep $150 billion even if U.S. rejects. Okay.
I just hope if it goes through that they do watch that country, because I think they would take Israel off the map in a second.
Did you love how Donald says where he gets his military advisement?
Oh, no.
From watching TV shows.
Did he really?
That's so
Like
scary.
what, Wild Wild West and what?
Well, no, he watches interviews like
Yeah.
the show he was on.
NCIS, Mark Harmon.
He's got to be sitting back at home just going, can you believe this? What's going
Look how
on here? He goes,
far
I have no
I've gotten."
idea.
I know.
He's got to be sitting back just laughing
Did you
at
ever
all
see
of us.
the movie The Candidate? Very, very
Yeah.
old film.
Robert Redford, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Did you ever? You should see it, Tom. It's an old movie, and Robert Redford is trying to become a senator, I think.
Right.
And I shouldn't. Well, I guess I'll kind of ruin it if I tell you the end.
Well, don't tell me.
Don't tell him. Because
Okay.
it was a
Let me
great
say-
movie, Robert Redford movie. Great
I
movie.
just got the answer. Okay. It is true that Iran will reap significant economic benefits from the deal because of the sanctions levied against Iran will be lifted as long as Iran completes the restrictions, complies with restrictions of the nuclear program. But it's not like Iran will automatically receive a check or some have said a signing bonus. The money belongs to Iran. You just have to keep reading it. This like paragraph after paragraph. $150 million will be held in Hillary Clinton's bank account, and she'll send private emails that
Yeah.
are not top secret.
Well, I think she's going to end up. I've got a bet with somebody at the radio station today that I made. By March 1st, she'll be out of the race, I think.
I don't think so.
I think this email thing's going to destroy her.
I don't think so. Do you think so, Vikki?
No, I think she'll be in it, but I think the GOP's got to be loving it. They don't care what Trump does because they can hold this over her like, oh my God, she's done something so wrong. And
I just think the money's going to dry up. I think everybody's going to be sick of this because it's like the 50th thing that's involves the Clintons, you know. But Today's.
I love the show. Don't you just love it? All this.
What's the show?
All the show of
Oh,
her
the show.
and all the controversy and him and all the. It's just a big.
I'm hoping Trump keeps going because it's funny.
I just found out from last week's show that you asked, you're worried about Tony Bennett on stage and him being, at 88 years old, heat stroke. I found out that they had put ice in his Depends. So,
did they? Oh, that's good. That's good.
Tom, I was listening like, what? He's going to tell me something really important.
it was either that
My
or
neck.
put his underwear in the freezer. Which one was funnier?
How about a monologue minute?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Donald Trump finally, did you hear this? He finally unveiled his immigration policy, and he unveiled it, and now he's getting a lot of flack. It was pointed out, this is true, that Donald Trump's immigration policy would have prevented his own grandfather from coming to America. That's true. It would have prevented his own grandfather from coming to America, yeah. That explains his new campaign slogan, Vote Trump to prevent another Trump.
Here's what people are talking about. Of course, it's the election still. According to a new poll, Jeb Bush saw a 6% drop in support after the first debate. But experts say that he still has a shot because he's likable and qualified. And Donald Trump was like, weird, because the opposite is working for me. And Lindsey Graham was at the Iowa State Fair this week, and he's come up with a pretty good new reason for why he should be president. What?
If I'm president, we're going to drink more. And after a couple drinks, we're going to stop the BS and we're going to work together.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Then we're going to do karaoke. Then we're going to tell each other our secrets. Then when y'all fall asleep on the couch, I'm going to put a blanket on you because you're my best friend, and I mean that.
True story. I didn't make this up. A company is developing an elevator that can take you into space. Yeah.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Of course, don't you hate it when you're going to Jupiter and someone gets on the elevator and presses Mars?
Lady Gaga is threatening to sue a breast milk ice cream company after they announced a new flavor called Royal Baby Gaga. Of course, if you're a breast milk ice cream company, any publicity is bad publicity.
Seth Meyers.
Don't you love him? Seth Meyers.
Very good.
Every time I hear him, I just think SNL, Mm-hmm.
I heard he's doing that now. That
He's going to be doing...
No, that and on his show, he's sitting at a desk
Right.
doing the SNL thing like he's doing
You're
the news.
kidding.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
He started on the past couple of weeks. He's done that. He went from standing up like everybody else
Right.
does to the desk because that's what everybody's been used to seeing him do it.
Is
at.
it funnier? Is it better?
I don't know. It's probably better for him because he looked uncomfortable standing still.
Yes.
Saying the joke.
okay.
So I
Well,
think
so he
probably,
walks out and goes to a fake news desk?
No. He goes to his desk.
His regular desk.
Yeah, regular desk. Does it there. Yeah. He also does second chance bits with whenever he has somebody on from Saturday Night Live, he does the second chance bit where they had a bit that didn't make it past the dress rehearsal, but they thought it was still pretty good, and they do that bit. And it's pretty funny stuff usually.
Well, does he still SNL turn sideways and they put a graphic up and they have
I haven't seen a graphic, but I haven't seen all the shows yet.
That's what I
either,
heard
so.
that he was going to do.
Maybe.
Well, I like
Probably.
it. I like it.
Probably, yeah, because that's what he was known for.
I thought when he did the State of the Union, or not State of the Union, but it was like that big, what's that thing where all the media and the press comes?
Oh, the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah. He emceed that a couple of years ago, and Trump was in the audience,
Mm-hmm.
and he was making fun of him.
Oh, yeah.
He
Hey,
smiles through it.
you like Tamar G. Henson? What's her name? T. Henson?
Tamaji.
Tamaji? What's her name?
Is that a designer?
Tamar J. Hansen.
Yeah.
She's Cookie
I
from
love the
Empire.
Hanson.
You like her, right?
I love her.
Did you see her on The Tonight Show play Family Feud? I'm shocked you didn't.
No.
Name something in your house you hide when guests come over.
The drugs!
The drug?
I didn't say that. That's cookie!
Oh, you got it right there. Oh, my gosh. That's it. You got it. Alcohol, drugs. That's the win right there, right?
Complete this phrase. Blank balls.
Big balls!
Don't buzz in again. Now again.
I can do it again. Take two. Blazing balls! No?
I
get brass balls!
Basketball.
Blue.
Boy, Johnny would be spinning in his grave, wouldn't he, at the Tonight Show, the way they do things now?
Really?
Man.
Johnny was just one of the greatest. Where were we all on Johnny's last show? We were broadcasting. Actually, Star 94 had a broadcast at Rupert's nightclub.
We did?
And I hosted it. Yeah,
that's
it
right.
was the final.
I remember that now, yeah.
Y'all were at home in bed or something.
Yeah. That's right. Huh.
But Tom has a funny story about blue balls.
You do?
Vikki, it's funny. I was just talking about those.
It's paybacks for
couple days
stabbing
ago.
me in my dream.
But I was just thinking when you said blue balls, I've had that seriously one time, maybe a couple times, but I remember one time I had it because I was anticipating something really, really great. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I mean, I had
It's getting bigger by the minute.
It was, Steve. It was uncomfortable. And so I had someone talking to me the night before, and then the next day I was on the life cycle at the gym, and I told my buddy, I said, I've got a little bit of uncomfortableness down there. And then I undid my pants, and there was the prettiest Christmas ornaments you've ever seen. And I hung them on the Macy's tree.
Have you ever had blue balls? No?
No.
Okay.
Steve,
I wouldn't know what it felt like. What's
Steve,
it feels like?
It feels like you remember a pearl necklace?
No. No, I don't remember that either.
Steve, remember that one? We asked him on the air. We asked him on the air about the pearl necklace. And Steve, what's the pearl necklace? We were talking about Samantha on Sex and the City. Steve, do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then we came back from break after Rob Stadler, and we told you what the pearl necklace was.
Yeah.
And then you came back. It's kind of like, oh, that's the pearl necklace.
Now he's asking you about blue balls.
I know. Here, let's ask your dog, Shammy.
Sam probably knows what that's about.
Shammy. We can't do that. It's like having a vasectomy, and you got to keep ice pack down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've done that. I remember that.
It's painful.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, my God.
Maybe this might be a good time to talk about my dad's treatment at the hospital.
Is that what we went in for?
It did involve a couple of fingers.
Oh, did it?
That's all I'm saying. And the nurse, wow, she was.
Hello,
she was cute.
nurse.
Her name was Abigail. She was really sweet.
Yes, I know.
Steve,
Okay.
would you do me a favor and just drop trowel and turn to the right and cough?
Okay.
Vikki, you get this one.
I don't see anything.
Oh,
Your hands are cold.
yeah. Where have these hands been? So like on Monday, have to get that done.
Well, we had a great show today.
And it's a woman, too. The woman starts telling me about Xarelto the other day at the doctor. She starts saying, I said, I'm a little frightened by the side effects. She says, I know. She says, there are many, many side effects to these drugs. She says, some of them make you have sex with strangers.
Is that what she said?
She did. She looked at me like that. And
So
I
was
said,
she any good?
I don't know. So, yeah.
Steve,
But,
you know what? That speaking of sex, a new Viagra for women is coming out.
That's
Vikki.
right.
And what it does
Yeah,
is
but did you hear? You have to take it every day for like 2 weeks for it to work.
Oh,
It's
you
not
do?
like the little blue pill that
Well,
you take and it's a few
that's okay.
hours. And you can't mix it with alcohol.
Yeah.
So the guy's got to be relatively good looking.
Yeah.
Well,
You
what I'm
can't
saying is, you take it for 2 weeks prior, and then
I don't know
that way
how
you're
many
ready
weeks,
for
but-
sex whenever you
But
want.
the little blue pill is so if you want to be ready for sex, boom, right? Isn't it just
Well, that's
an
more
hour?
of a performance kind of a
No.
thing.
Here's the
It's
deal.
to help you
Yes.
perform. It doesn't enhance your sex.
No, for
men,
women-
because men don't need that.
Women, it works in the brain, the chemicals, and it enhances your sensory and desire and all that stuff. But what I've learned about Viagra and all the Cialis, it takes about 30 minutes to get going, and it will not work if you're not mentally in the mood for sex.
Oh, so it doesn't.
No, because like I got some in Brazil because
Yeah.
they have drugstores. You can get all these free drugs. You know, no prescription needed. I got some, and I took it. And while I was waiting for it to happen, I read the precautionary statement of the 15-page brochure inside the box, and no way was I getting an erection after reading that. It was,
Why?
oh my God, may cause blindness, internal bleeding, rash. I mean, how does that turn you on?
Yeah, that's what's her explanation for me taking Xarelto. She says, look, every drug these days comes with many, many warnings and side effects. She says most people do not get affected by them, but some people do. I said, well, I don't want to be in the hospital for internal bleeding, and have to sue the company and all that. So she said, I understand. She said, well, we have to get rid of the blood clot. down
Yeah,
your leg.
it's very important, Steve.
So
the risks are far outweighed by the benefits.
that's what she said.
Yes.
Then when she said, you'll wake up in the middle of the night, she said, some people wake up in the middle of the night and they sleepwalk and they have sex with people, strangers. Stranger
She said,
sex.
really?
That's what she said. I'm
See,
looking
now,
at her
is she Asian or is she Indian? Because I'm
Indian.
glad that voice. You just slid off into another country, and I wasn't quite sure where we're going.
I went to the west. More to the west.
You're having sex with someone, Steve, in another country now.
So you could tell your wife it was the drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know
Gosh,
why.
It might be good for your wife. You know? Oh my God, who are you? And what country are we in? That's a great
In
drug.
fact, we put some in Vicky's coffee right now. She's acting a little strange.
That's our new sponsor,
Yes.
the Little Pink Pill.
And speaking of sponsors and commercials, I did a commercial for TV, and I'll talk about it on next week's show.
All right.
Okay, good. Something for us to all look forward to.
Oh, Sammy's licking his balls.
Oh, good. I wish I could do that.
Hey, you can find us online at steveandvicky.com. We'll have pictures there. All right.
Your neck hurts where he stabbed you in your
Killing
dream.
me.
In your dream. Bye-bye, everybody.
This has been a Film Waste presentation, darling.